because then we're going to figure out how to hold it in there. So just talk amongst yourselves, we'll figure this one out. Now, if you recall at the start of this, when we pulled the engine out of the donor frame, the sump that we had on it was huge. It's I don't think it sits that way, yeah. So the depth of the sump was just way too tall for what we need in a frame. Our frame would run about here, and that would probably be ploughing Bonneville, which is not the best idea. So I had an idea of how to fix it. I actually thought about cutting that, but it's just way too much work. We put a temporary bit of wood on it. I think there was a video on this and how we did it. Just for two reasons. One, it was a rough base where we could actually have the engine sitting flat, so we could line up all the engine mounts, because that's what we needed for making the mounts. And two, to understand where it would sit in the frame, so we brace the frame as well. That needs to come off, because we can't run the engine like that. It's not going to seal oil worth of shit. And also you've got the, oh there you go, the pickup pipe as well. So that needs to be replaced with a proper sump before we put the engine back in, which we have. And this kit was on eBay. It's a flat bottom sump, almost exactly the same size as that piece of wood. I may have looked into that before. The sump plug is already drilled for wire. Actually, that's a lie. That sump plug was different, but it fits the same thing. It's a magnetic plug. It's got a hole for lock wire as well. So with this kit, you get the sump, and you get pickup, and you get all the bolts, and a little card says leave a 5-star review, which if it fits, we might just do that. This was $100. Literally $100 off eBay. I don't even know how they can make it for that. It's quite impressive. The reason being that a lot of people drag race the original GSXR K8s, and they'll lower the front end to stop wheelies, and with the deep sump they run into problems as well, and that's why you can get this on the market so cheap. It's unbelievably cheap. So if we want to have this engine even idling on the bench before we strip it down, it needs a sump. So we're going to fit that before we put the engine back in the front. Actually, it feels like a lifetime ago since we fitted this wooden sump. It was a long, long time ago. Can't actually remember what it looks like underneath. Ah, but it does have a gasket. That's handy. It's very handy. First things first, let's make sure everything lines up before we go any further. Which, try a couple of bolt holes. It'd be a real shame to do all this exercise and find out it doesn't fit at all. Nope, it fits. Perfect. So, time to take everything off. We'll give it a good clean up. And we'll fit the pickup. So one thing I've noticed off the bat is all the bolts for this pickup are loose. There's a little filter in here, a little gauze filter. I just want to see what's actually in it to make sure nothing falls out of it. Oh, well that's it's kind of boring. Okay, so it's a little gauze filter. That's fine. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use thread lock on all these bolts to make sure they don't fall out. Because it is an engine, and I don't fancy it's an M4 bolt rattling itself loose and getting picked up by something which will be a brand new, freshly built engine. Now while we're doing this, you can see there's a little O-ring where this is going to fit, which is kind of cool. And it gives us an insight of what's actually in this engine as well. Now, I've ordered all the rebuild kit for this engine already. So that's big end shells, small end shells, water pump seals, all the gasket kits, new head gasket, which is a thick thicker head gasket than standard from Kinetic. Forged conrods, Wasner pistons, Wasner conrods. Pistons are 10.5 or 10.4 to 1 compression ratio, a lot lower than standard. There's valve springs, there's titanium valve spring holders, there's a bunch of internal stuff which has been ordered for this engine, which we will rebuild after the mock-up. What I'm noticing is we've got oil pump gear right here as well. That shaft looks to drive the oil pump, which is here, and goes right through and drives the water pump as well off the same shaft. Now we've also purchased a operated oil pump wheel. You can buy, it's a slightly larger diameter wheel, so it drives the oil pump slightly faster than standard, which will give us a bit more oil pressure, and it'll probably be a bit more stable up higher revs as well. So it's good to know where that is. But as I said, this whole engine is going to come apart and get rebuilt after the mock-up. Time to fit the pickup. Got no clue of what is in this little bag here because it's never been opened. This actually arrived ages ago, just never bothered to get into the nuts and bolts of what's all in the bags. I presume it's going to be all the long bolts for the sump itself, which it is. Which means these two small bolts on the, thank you, leave a 5-star feedback rating, they are going to be for our pickup bolts. It's kind of handy as well. Now, I'm not going to bother thread locking these because this engine is going to come apart again soon after, but this isn't. In fact, you know what? No, I'll thread lock it. It might come off again, but it doesn't matter. So it's going to go that way. So it picks up from, just so you can see, it's going to pick up from the bottom of the pan like that. Just making this up as I go along. You guys are learning with me. We're both along for the ride. Okay, so 1. And 2. One thing I really need to do with this engine is clean it. It is filthy. Probably got like 30,000 miles worth of gunk and shit all over it. But that's not happening today. It's a job for future Alan. Probably when the engine comes out for a rebuild, that's when we'll do it. Oh, they're not very easy to get into, are they? Oh. It's just as well, come on. I was going to say it's just as well we've got bald ends on our Allen keys, but we still can't get access. This engine is kind of balancing precariously on the bench here. Oh, there we go. It's in enough. One. Cool. That looks pretty cool. It looks a damn sight better than whatever that monstrosity was anyway. Time to clean up the face and throw the sump on. Now that everything's cleaned up, I've seen an issue with our gasket. I'm going to use the same gasket for now. There is a new one on order, but the plan for this is we're going to rebuild the engine, put some oil in it, and mock up everything else so it runs, and we will run it, even with the turbo on it, but just bench test it. And then we'll strip it down and everything. So for that, we have a new gasket. For what we need it, we're just going to use the same gasket. But the new pickup is actually fouling the gasket plate. So there's this weird, it's like a splash part on the gasket, and it's in my way. So we need to cut it out. We'll mark it where it's fouling. Because yeah, building Landspeed bikes, even gaskets need fucking modified. Okay, so we need something like that. Now this is a metal gasket coated. Not quite sure the best way to cut that actually. Realistically, we could snip it and just bend it and it would work because it's not doing anything, but let's try tin snips. It would be as well video this just to see how difficult it is, just for your entertainment value. Let's see how this goes. Not quite sure how easy this will be to cut. Oh, apparently very easy. Realistically, we don't really care if it's a tidy job or not a tidy job because this is not going to be the last gasket that sits on here, but it's good practice for the new one. Yeah. Oh, we'll just keep going in a circle, why not? That's not bad. It's not good, it's not bad. Okay, one thing I've learned, it leaves a little ragged edge. For what we're doing now, not really caring. In fact, no. Let me get a grinder on it. Just put it in the belt sander just a minute. 2 seconds. Right, going forward, putting on the belt sander and just getting off the sharp edges is the way to go. As I said, this one, it's not really mattering, but when we do the final build, if the gasket's going to be exactly the same, we don't want any sharp edges or potential metal bits that could fall off or get caught and go into our brand new main bearings. But now, look at that. Perfect fit. Absolutely beautiful. Now, how do we, okay. Because then we're going to figure out how to hold it in there, so just talk amongst yourselves, so I'll figure this one out. Done. Well, these will use our new bolts, because then we can use the same ones when we replace it when we do the engine rebuild. Right. Oh, come on. Fuck. Patience. Now I'm going to get this gasket underneath the pickup. Come on. There we go. And then onto here. Just get a couple of bolts started and get in there. Or not. Cool. And put the rest of the bolts in. Well, we've got the engine on its side and we're looking at oil stuff. There's another 2 key things that we need to address. One is this port here. This is where the original pressure switch on the engine was fitted. Pressure switch being when you have oil pressure, it forces a plunger up, makes a contact, and you can see in the dash that your engine oil pressure light will extinguish. And then if there's any loss of pressure, the plunger will break contact and you get your warning light again. We're not going to run that. We are running a pressure sensor in its place. And this pressure sensor is going to be linked to the ECU, and this will read absolute oil pressure as opposed to just on off. Now, there's obviously not a lot of room for it to fit in the original place. So with this fitting, we can then fit the fitting onto here. And then I think it's going to go around the other side. This extension piece, we can then have our oil pressure sensor. So it's going to sit somewhere like that. And then we can hook it up electrically and measure absolute oil pressure. Now, we can fit this little part now. I think that's looks like 8th MPT. Everything else seems to be 8th MPT. So we can fix that, and then we've just got a coupler which we can fit once on the bike later. So we'll do that now, and then we can go on to the oil cooler ports, which are also here. Now the next part of this is the oil cooler lines. On the original bike, you had two lines coming out here, went up to the oil cooler which hung at the front of the bike, and there were specific lines for this connection. With the turbo kit that we got, it actually comes with this oil cooler removal kit. So it's got little fittings which I've butchered, but basically a little T-piece here. And then you link that line between the two connections, so the oil just flows between the two. Because when you've got this turbo on the standard bike, it sits here and it would foul the oil cooler. There's just no room for it at all. Now for us, we've got an oil cooler and it sits behind the engine. It sits way, way behind it. So we've got AN fittings and we'll run an AN line, an AN6, not 6AN, all the way up to one side of the oil cooler and then down to the other side. So it's nice and simple. The thing is though, this is the connections I had lying around. For this side it's okay, but you're going to have a line going all the way across. Now we can put an elbow on the line, no problem. So this side is fine. This side, however, we could do the same thing, but it's going to foul the water pipe. So we need an elbow similar to that, straight off this side coming out, and then onto an AN fitting. So we can then get our, what's that going to be, water in, coming out from the radiator. So a little bit of work to do there. We can fit this one. We can't do anything with that one. In fact, we may as well just fit it now and get it done with. And then we've only got one job left to do. Now that this is on, I think it's just going to depend on what angle of fitting we use. So an angle of fitting like that, it's going to come back the back and we can go up the back of the bike. Because I think this one just seems to stick out a little bit. Also need to understand where the frame rails are going to go, so that's probably going to be the final decision. But I will buy two 8th MPT elbows because it might be easier just to run that as well. We'll do the same with both sides. But that's a problem for future Alan. And that is our new drag racing style sump fitted. We've gone from the deep sump to our very special wooden sump, served a purpose, to now our ready to go low profile aluminium sump. So I hope you enjoyed this shorter version of the video, project driven, well, rather project specific. Let us know in the comments how you feel with the shorter videos rather than the longer ones. I'm quite keen to know. And we'll catch you in the next one.